Hi, I'm Harold Bell, and this is the Legends of Inside Sports and the Way We Were. Well, this is March 2020, and I decided I want to take time out to tell my story and those folks and legends connected with the Harold Bell story. We're going to take time out today to take a look at the great Red Auerbach, NBA legend icon, the greatest coach ever in the NBA. He's the only coach to win 16 world championships with one team, the Boston Celtics. Nobody else has ever done that. Red Auerbach and Walter Brown, they were equal opportunity employees. A lot of folks are not aware of the great history when it comes to equal opportunity in the Boston Celtics, especially a lot of black folks. They always seen the Celtics as a bunch of rednecks. That was the town. That was not the team. Red Auerbach and Walter Brown. When Walter Brown brought Red Auerbach in 1950, Red Auerbach was the first one to draft a black player. That's right, the first one to draft a black player. Walter Brown and Red Auerbach were the first ones to put 5 black players on the floor at the same time. Red Auerbach was the first to hire a black coach, the first to hire a black general manager, all being Bill Russell. So you start talking about the Boston Celtics, man. Do your homework. I remember it got so bad one time. I asked George Solomon of the Washington Post, let me freelance and write an article on the real Boston Celtics, and he did. You know, Red and I were good friends, and people always ask, man, how did you meet Red Auerbach? Well, you're not gonna believe this. I was up in Chevy Chase in Bethesda during one summer day, and I stopped by Chevy Chase Playground just to watch some basketball because a lot of outstanding basketball players played up there at Chevy Chase. And I was leaning outside the fence watching, and there was this white lady sitting next to me in her chair, and she started talking about the players and about basketball. And I said to myself, man, this white lady knows a whole lot about basketball, about these athletes and stuff. So anyway, we started a conversation, and we were there for about 20 minutes until this other white man arrived with some cold drinks. And he gave her a cold drink, and he sat down. And I said, man, that looks like Red Auerbach. So anyway, his wife Dottie introduced me, and she said, Red, I want you to meet Harold Bell. And Red growled something, and wasn't very nice. And Dottie said, Red, stop acting like that. This is my friend Harold Bell. Just like that. She called me a friend right away. And Red and I struck up a conversation. And Red, he growled like a tiger, but he was nothing but a pussycat. He was a great, great guy, man. And his wife, Dottie, man, she was a class act, man. They adopted Hattie and myself like we were family. And before we left from the playground at Chevy Chase, as he was leaving, Dottie had told him that I was a sports talk show host, and he hollered back over his shoulder, "Call me sometimes. I'll be a guest on your show." I said, "Wow." He said, "And I'm in the phone book." I said, "Okay." He was in the phone book. I couldn't get home. I couldn't wait to get home to see what Red Auerbach said really in the phone book, and he was. But really, one of the great people, man, of all time, and we became such great friends, man, that I could have saved Len Vye's life if I had told Red Auerbach what the real deal was, because Red was really trying to pick my brain to find out if he should really draft Len Vise or not. And I kept saying he's a great guy, because I was introduced to Len Vise by Adrian Branch, and Adrian Branch was like family. his mother, Carolyn and Charles, were dear friends of mine. And Adrian came to me on several occasions, and he brought Len Bias out to participate in my celebrity fashion show and my tennis tournaments, you know. And Len was a great kid. I thought he was a great kid. But Adrian finally told me, you know, that they both were dipping and dabbing in drugs. But I think Adrian became concerned because of the crew that Len was hanging out with. And he asked me, he said, Harold, you need to talk to Len, man. Yeah, I think he needs he needs you to talk to him. And he told me why. But I could not catch up with Len, man. And when Red told me one morning, I had Red on the show, and we were talking about the upcoming draft. And the upcoming draft was with Len Bias was a part of that upcoming draft. And Red said on the air, man, I said, Red, who are the great ball players out there? Who you guys looking at? And he said, man, you know, Len Bias is in this draft. He said, I had Len in my basketball camp for a week, and he said, man, I think the world of him, man. He's a great player. He said, I might have a chance to get him. So he was like that. So I said, okay. So yeah, several days later, Red loved these young black kids in double dutch tournaments. He loved double dutch, so he'd always tell me, Harold, let me know where they have these double dutch tournaments because I like to go. So I called them and we went to one up at Coolidge High School. And Red, we sit way back up in the corner somewhere, and he enjoyed that. But during that time, he kept trying to pick my brain about Len Bias, and I kept saying, Red, he's a talent, man. He's a talent. And I couldn't tell him, man, and I wish I had. Today, that was one of my big regrets, man, that I didn't tell Red about Len Bias and the drug problems that he was having. See, that wasn't not a one-time thing with Len Bias. He was hanging out with a pretty rough crew, and that's what Adrian Branch was trying to tell me. And Len Bias would probably be in the NBA Hall of Fame right now if I had went on and told Red what the real deal was. But coming up like I did, you know, that you consider a snitch. But I should have been old enough to understand, man, that this kid's life was in danger. So we're going to take time out today, and I want you to listen to a program that Red and I put together called Celebrity Sports Calls. And Red and I, our special guest on Celebrity Sports Call was Sam Jones. So we're going to be talking basketball with Red Auerbach and Sam Jones, and we're going to be talking about Black history and some of the great black athletes that Red knew, and who was the greatest all-around athlete. So, so check this out. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be right back after it's over. Okay.
Welcome to Celebrity Sports Ball, brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Hello, I'm Harold Bell, and my celebrity co-host is NBA Hall of Famer and president of the Boston Celtics, Red Auerbach. How you doing, Red?
Oh, pretty good. Nice to be here.
Red and I will be right back with our celebrity guest, former Celtic great and NBA Hall of Famer, Sam Jones.
The most efficient, complete, and effective exercise equipment in the world is you. When you walk, you exercise with the levers and weights of your own body. You lift it, you move it from side to side. You propel it forward, you push it, you pull. You don't have to join a health club to walk. You are the machine. You are your own exercise equipment. Put on a pair of Nike walking shoes, open the door, and just do it. Just do it.
Red, what kind of shooter was Sam Jones?
I've never yet had a ball player that played for me that shot with confidence the way Sam Jones did. And you know, people don't understand how many hours you practice this. They think it's just natural. It's not natural. You gotta be serious when you work on it. You gotta do it with half-clip shot because that's not what I'm gonna shoot on the ball game. I've got the same shot that I'm gonna take on I knew all our plays, and I knew where my shots were coming from, and those are the shots that I took. And I tell all the kids today, when you're playing out there by yourself shooting, don't take those shots you're not going to take in the game. Take the shots that you're going to be using in the ball game. And build it up where you have all the confidence in the world that the ball is going to go in. And they never understand, the young kids today, that the great athletes practice the hardest.
Celebrity Sports Call was brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Welcome to Celebrity Sports Call, brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Hello, I'm Harold Bell, and my celebrity co-host is NBA Hall of Famer and President of the Boston Celtics, Red Auerbach. How you doing, Red?
Oh, pretty good. It's nice to be here.
Red and I will be right back with our celebrity guest, former Celtic great and NBA Hall of Famer, Sam Jones.
The most efficient, complete, and effective exercise equipment in the world is you. When you walk, you exercise with the levers and weights of your own body. You lift it, you move it from side to side. You propel it forward, you push it, you pull it. You don't have to join a health club to walk. You are the machine. You are your own exercise equipment. Put on a pair of Nike walking shoes, open the door, and just do it. Just do it.
Sam, what was your greatest moment in sports?
They always say that you got my coach Red Auerbach there. And I'm going to give you something that he will remember. We had won 17 straight games. And the 17 straight games was, we had also won 17 straight games with the Washington Capitals. So we decided that we should have a curfew. And the curfew would be in his room. And we brought it in. We were in cold pretzels and sandwiches all over his room. And he stayed in his room until about 2:30 in the morning. And the next day we were playing the worst team in the league. And we get beat by 50 points. And Miss Auerbach, that was the only curfew he had ever given to us in my 12 years of playing. And I'll tell you right now, that was a moment. It sure was, and I stopped giving curfews.
Celebrity Sports Call was brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Welcome to Celebrity Sports Call, brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Hello, I'm Harold Bell, and my celebrity co-host is NBA Hall of Famer and President of the Boston Celtics, Red Auerbach. How you doing, Red?
Oh, pretty good. It's nice to be here.
Red and I will be right back with our celebrity guest, former Celtic great and NBA Hall of Famer, Sam Jones.
The most efficient, complete, and effective exercise equipment in the world is you. When you walk, you exercise with the levers and weights of your own body. You lift it, you move it from side to side. You propel it forward, you push it, you pull it. You don't have to join a health club to walk. You are the machine. You are your own exercise equipment. Put on a pair of Nike walking shoes, open the door, and just do it. Just do it.
What was it like being the NBA's first sixth man?
Well, I felt good coming out to this because we had the type of team that, and how Red pointed out, one of the things is being in shape. The Celtics, as far as I'm concerned, never reported the camp out of shape. We reported the first day being ready to play. We had such a team that other teams couldn't afford to substitute and match up with us because of our ability to run up and down the court. And so when I came in the game,
Welcome to Celebrity Sports Ball, brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Hello, I'm Harold Bell, and my celebrity co-host is NBA Hall of Famer and President of the Boston Celtics, Red Auerbach. How you doing, Red?
Oh, pretty good. It's nice to be here.
Red and I will be right back with our celebrity guest, former Celtic great and NBA Hall of Famer, Sam Jones.
The most efficient, complete, and effective exercise equipment in the world is you. When you walk, you exercise with the levers and weights of your own body. You lift it, you move it from side to side. You propel it forward, you push it, you pull. You don't have to join a health club to walk. You are the machine. You are your own exercise equipment. Put on a pair of Nike walking shoes, open the door, and just do it. Just do it.
Hey, Sam, you do a lot of clinics. If you're going to advise the kids today about the game of basketball, what would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I would tell a kid he's got to have patience. I'm one of those guys. I came up behind two great backcourt people, Bob Cousy and Derek Thompson, and they were just great. And certainly coming out of a college, it's not a big college, but you have a lot of young players who are coming out of the big schools who want to play immediately. They want to have an impact as soon as they come in, not realizing that it takes experienced players who are who can count on, players that they've been with them for a long, long time. So the best thing for that kid to do is stay in shape and have patience.
That's right. They've got to be ready all the time because you never know when the opportunity is going to come up.
Celebrity Sports Call was brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Welcome to Celebrity Sports Ball, brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Hello, I'm Harold Bell, and my celebrity co-host is NBA Hall of Famer and President of the Boston Celtics, Red Auerbach. How you doing, Red?
Oh, pretty good. It's nice to be here.
Red and I will be right back with our celebrity guest, Sam Jones.
The most efficient, complete, and effective exercise equipment in the world is you. When you walk, you exercise with the levers and weights of your own body. You lift it, you move it from side to side. You propel it forward, you push it, you pull. You don't have to join a health club to walk. You are the machine. You are your own exercise equipment. Put on a pair of Nike walking shoes, open the door, and just do it. Just do it.
Sam Jones, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame, but one thing he did, he made the bank shot into his heart. Sam, welcome aboard.
Thanks a lot, Coach. I don't call it Red, I call it Coach.
All right. Sam told me a story once about Wilt Chamberlain. We waited for him to come out to the corner.
First of all, Russell counted as the greatest defensive player in basketball. But Wilt could have been just as great. But he wanted the Russell to make baskets. And if he made a switch, and you pass the ball into Russell, and Russell jumped one time, and Red knows about this. He got one dunk. Russell jumped for one time. Rick King was not going to come out to guard you anymore because he didn't like the Russell to score any points. And so I would always try to beg him to come out. I would say, come on out with this fella. And as he started moving to him, I would keep the ball and holler, wait. But once Russell scored that basket, he wasn't coming anymore.
Celebrity Sports Call was brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. Red Auerbach, a living legend, a pioneer, innovator, Mr. Basketball, Mr. Celtics, winningest coach in the NBA, a great individual and my friend. Hello, Red.
So that was some kind of introduction. And keep it up, I might believe you.
Red, who do you admire and respect in sports history?
Well, there's so many of them, but I've always had a great deal of admiration for Jackie Robinson. Russell, played for me. But, you go on and on and on. I've got so many guys at the tip of my tongue. Even a guy like John Thompson has done. And you talk with Doug Williams, you got Julius Irving, and the great athlete Jim Brown. But you have them in all sports. And not only sports, hell, they're people. And I don't even think of it that way. I think of them as just great people and great athletes. I mean, you take Bill Russell. He's a brilliant guy. He's got a lot of depth to him. And look at John Thompson. Not only has he won and done so well as a winner, but look what he's done for the character of a lot of the kids that go to Georgetown. And we all know Jackie has done as far as pioneering, but forget all that. He just was such a great athlete. Take Jimmy Brown. Hell, he's the greatest lacrosse player in history, as well as one of the tops, if not the top, fullback that ever played a game of football.
Red, I've heard on many occasions they say that Jackie Robinson didn't even play his best sport. Baseball was not his best sport.
No, football, I think, was his best sport. Although he was quite a good basketball player, too. We've had a lot of arguments as to who's the greatest athlete, all-around athlete, of all time. And it's always come back to between Jackie Robinson and Jim Brown. That really has done it, not the potential.
Red, let's talk about Bill Russell, but first, a commercial break. Red, what about Bill Russell's place in sports history?
People forget. They know how great he was, but they don't realize that Russell was such a winner. He won 11 championships in 13 years. 11 championships. You talk about winning the close ones and performing in the clutch. I mean, there's a guy that did it.
Red, thanks again for being here on Inside Sports Calls. Now, thank you for your comments on one of my heroes, Jackie Robinson.
I was at this big affair for Jackie Robinson a couple weeks ago, about a month or so ago. And I had the pleasure of sitting with Jesse Jackson and Ella Fitzgerald. And I'll tell you, that was a memorable evening. I'll never forget it. It was super.
Well, I bet, too, that they said the same thing, that they were in the company of Red Auerbach, a class act and a class gentleman. This Inside Sports Calls was brought to you by the sponsor, who thanks you for your continuing support.
Okay, that was basketball with Red Auerbach and Sam Jones, Celebrity Sports Call, a program that Red and I put together decades ago, and some of you are just getting a chance to hear it. Red Auerbach, man, was a very special human being, man. That's why, it's always easy for me to say that every black face I see is not my brother, and every white face is not my enemy. And Red is one of those people who inspired that, man, because he was always there. And it's hard for me to believe that he's been gone 14 years, man. 14 years. And I miss him badly, man. I really do. I just think about a couple of things that we did together. And I think about one of the first things, the impact of Red Auerbach. I remember I went to my first NBA All-Star game in Houston. And I was new to the radio sports talk field, and I sent in for my credentials, and I went out with Sonny Hill, and of course all of you know who Sonny Hill is, a legendary broadcaster, and Sonny and I were staying together. So we went down to get credentials, and Sonny went in and got his credentials, and I went in to get my credentials, and Brian McIntyre, who was in charge of it at the time, told me he didn't have my name. He didn't have any paperwork that I sent in for credentials. So I said, man, I said, Mr. Mack, you believe I would come all the way from Washington, D.C. to Houston, Texas, and didn't send in paperwork for credentials? He said, well, I don't have any here for you. I can't do anything for you. So I said, are you kidding me, man? He said, no, I'm not kidding you. I can't do anything for you. So I sit there for about a minute. So I said, Mr. Mack, do you know Red Auerbach? He said, yeah, I know him. Do you know him? I said, can I use your phone there for a minute? He said, yeah. He put the phone over. And I called Red because Red had told me he wasn't coming to the NBA All-Star game. He was gonna pass this one up, stay in DC and get some go out and play cards or tennis or whatever. And I said, well, let me call Red and see if he's still home. So I called Red and the phone rang and the phone rang. And Dottie picked up the phone. I said, Dottie, this is Harold. She said, hey, Harold, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. I said, is Red around? She said, no, he's out at the country club. I said, Dottie, I'm here in Houston, Texas. And I'm trying to get press credentials. And the guy in charge just said, I can't get press credentials because he doesn't have any paperwork for me. Dottie said, give him the phone, Harold. So I gave him the phone. I said, Mr. Mack, someone wants to speak to you. And buddy, you should have seen Mr. Mack's face, man. When I don't know what Dottie told him, but he hung up that phone like he was amazed. He said, everything's fine, Mr. Bell. We got credentials for him. And me and Mr. Mack, and since then, have become dear friends. And I like to think about that every time I think about the impact that Red Auerbach had on my career and helped me get past different hurdles. And Mr. Mack was one of those hurdles in Houston, Texas. I never forget. And then I never forget, of course, when Earl Lord, the first black to play in the NBA, who was from Alexandria, Virginia, came to me and asked me, hey man, they're not letting me in the Hall of Fame, and he said, man, will you help me get in the Hall of Fame? So yeah, Earl Lord was the first black to play in a game in the NBA. A lot of people were not aware of that, including Sonny Hill and a whole lot of other guys. They claimed that Earl was not the first. So I had Red on my show, and Red said, yeah, Earl Lord was the first to play in an NBA game. And Earl ended up winning a championship with the Syracuse Nationals. So he deserved his opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame as a contributor or whatever. But I asked Red Auerbach, would he help me in a campaign to get Earl into the Hall of Fame? He said, yes, he would. And I recruited Dick Heller, the late Dick Heller, my dear friend, sports columnist, legendary sports columnist with the Washington Times. We decided to do a campaign, and the campaign was right on time because 2000, the NBA All-Star Game was coming to Washington D.C. So I hustled some guys together. I invited Sam Jones, Andrew Dyer of the Round Ball Report, Christy Winter Scott of the Round Ball Report, Butch McAdams, and James Brown from CBS. We all had lunch down at Union Station, and I told them what was happening, and we wanted to do something to get Earl Lord in the Hall of Fame. And so I had planned to put together a tribute to Earl out in Alexandria, where he grew up, and have a basketball clinic out there, and then have an honor and tribute to him that evening at the Bohemian Caverns, the historical Bohemian Caverns on 9th and U Street. So James Brown agreed to be a part of that and to co-host it with Sam Jones. So anyway, when you do something with when the NBA All-Star Game is in town, they shut everything down. You cannot do anything unless you get their permission. Well, I had an ace in the hole. My ace in the hole was Red Auerbach. I ain't had to go through David Stern or any of them to do something with NBA athletes involved. And so anyway, we did a big clinic out in Alexandria at Earl's, one of those schools out there, and we had Earl of Pearl, we had Sonny Hill, we had Bob Lanier, Casey Jones, Leonard Hamilton, who was the coach of the of the Wizards at the time, Al Addles. It was just a great turnout. And that evening we had the tribute at the Bohemian Caverns, and that was the only event that Red Auerbach participated in that weekend. He came down to the Bohemian Caverns to participate in the Earl Lloyd tribute. And Earl Lloyd was finally inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame in 2003. So that was because of Red Auerbach, you know, his influence. Red was his own man. And like I said, he is the greatest coach to ever coach in the NBA, bar none. Because you know what? 16 championships with one team. He didn't go here, didn't go there. He stayed with one team. And he has my respect and my love. Dottie, his wife, class act. Well, that's going to be it for this segment of Inside Sports as I continue to tell my stories in 2020 because, like I said, tomorrow is not promised to me. So I must get this out. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember that every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until next time, I'm Harold Bell, and you can color me gone.